doing a recording on this.
Yes, ma'am,
Got
we
you.
are.
Now go ahead and sing.
Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us. We turning 5 years old this week, and we will celebrate all week. Colts mating with the carnival on Saturday. Come join us. So, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, how are y'all doing today?
We're fine. Hopefully it'll be a peaceful celebration. And
it is going to be a peaceful celebration. I pray for this. Please, everybody say a prayer. As a matter of fact, and just let's do this and have a moment of silence for the young man whose family is going through a tumultuous time right now. And so let's just take a moment of silence. And ladies and gentlemen, and I just want to let you know it is with heavy hearts that because we must address this, because this did happen in our city. It did happen at a park. And so the young man, we have released a statement. The young man was apprehended. But it's just the unfortunate things of how words can escalate. But this is the downside to just the open carry for everybody to have, as we must have peaceful resolve and understand that, having a firearm is not for an offensive method, but for a defensive method. And there's no words. There's just no words. A mother has to bury her son. A father has to bury their child. That is something that no parent should have to do. We can't say it enough. But also, too, ladies and gentlemen, the summer is approaching, and we must have something for these young people to do. And we need to double down and come up with effective programming or programs, activities, something to alter the minds. But we also must teach de-escalation, and as the sheriff says, think twice, save a life, because that just has no place. And I don't know what else to say, ladies and gentlemen, but if you have an opinion and a thought process on this, please share it now before we dive on into our Legislative Monday agenda.
Hi, this is Request from Goodwill. My only question is, I don't know what happened. I wasn't aware.
Let me just say, there was the pavilion at Walker Ball Park. There was 3 of them. They was rented out. 2 of them was for a birthday party, and 1 was for a Stop the Violence rally. An altercation at one of the pavilions with the birthday started with an argument and escalated to a young man ended up gone, deceased from gunfire. And so that happened yesterday at the park. Now, there was, because we had officers that Stop the Violence rally, it was able to have the suspect apprehended very quickly, very rapidly. But, the park's pavilion you can rent out, but the park itself and the building was not open. As none of the parks right now are open on Sunday. And I do apologize, let me say, because we were supposed to be live today at Burdette. And so they had to a certain time before I had to just make the call virtual live. I was really looking forward to coming live. And as they just came late, as we called it to be virtual. And then after that, they said, oh, it's fine, you can come on in. But I believe time, You know what I mean? And so I like to have this thing a day before, and I apologize. And so we didn't get that to the lateness of hours. So I do have every intention on being like, well, legislative Mondays, because it kind of gives staff a reprieve. I want to do it every Monday, but to give staff a reprieve and a relief, and not to burden them, as we just chose this Monday. And so I'm a little let down, but hey, get this. It's the start of our birthday week. And we start in a somber moment, but we also too have to get through this, because this cannot be a summer indicating we are better than this. We just need to be the last. You know, I would like to say the last for the future, but hey, look, I'm realistic. Things do happen, but just keep everybody in prayer and keep everybody safe, as we will be live at our council meeting tomorrow at Southwest Arts Center. Thursday, we will have the video. We will have the celebration at Southwest Arts Center. And then Saturday, from 2 to 8:30, we will be at Wolf Creek. And at the same time, there's with the DA, the Fulton County Sheriff, City of South Fulton Police, pretty packing firearms. We'll have a gun awareness, gang awareness, and youthful conversation at Welcome All Park. And that event is sold out. And of course, the culmination and the finale, I'm breaking out the white jacket tux for Saturday at the Blue Martin Bistro from 7 until 2 is the grand finale, the wrap up. And we're doing a carnival style. Please come out, look for information. If y'all all sign up on the website, the information will be on our website, and that will be brought to you a little later on, as we're not going to do the updates right now. We want to go into our legislative session, because we do want the time to be effective and meaningful, and we want your voices to be heard on what's coming up for tomorrow. Cue up the legislation. Has anybody had a chance to look at it?
It's in the chat, but I'm going to bring it up on screen now.
Okay, we have a 352-page agenda. And please be sure you can send your public comments in. I don't think it's going to get read read. You would have to be present to voice your public comment. And so, first up out there, we have, now, let me just say this. They got some requests of these plats. They say it's our ministerial duty to accept these plats. I suggest people read the plats and go in, because it's not just ministerial, because once you accept it, you accept everything that goes along with it. And there's some things in the plats that I just don't deem acceptable. I mean, that's just point blank. And so there's a plat for Bedford Estates, plat for Howman Properties Split, Oxford Road, a replat of Pinnacle Point Townhomes, and a plat for the Anthem Senior Center. We have that right there. So there's so then approximately 5:15, we have the alcohol license rezoning variance modification cases for motion and for vote. And the public hearings was held April the 13th. The alcohol for Quick Mart, Chevron Food Mart for retail sales of wine and malt beverages. Number 2 is the alcohol license for Sienna Mart, BP Foods for the retail of wine and malt beverages at 3805 Flat Shows. Jane Williams was trying to get in. Flat Shows, a public hearing of an alcohol license for Harry and David LLC, DBA. Harry and David for the wholesale of wine at 5155 Welcome All Road. The public hearing of an alcohol license for AJSF Fairburn LLC, DBA. Shell Food Mart for the retail sales of wine and malt beverages at 7745 Spence Road. The request of rezoning from AG1 Sub A and R3 mix and R3 to mix for 74 single family dwelling units, 58 townhomes, and 288 multi-units, and 137,300 square feet of commercial retail. That's District 1. The rezoning from AG1 to CUP for 36 single family homes, District 2. The request for modification of conditions to match, providing clarity and cleating inconsistencies, District 2. Request of modification to conditions to update the site plan and change requirements for road improvements with a concurrent variance to reduce the stream buffer. And I would assume that's District 2 because they didn't say anything other than. Now, does anybody have any questions about the alcohol license and or the rezoning? And I will say this, that the alcohol license, anytime they change ownership, they have to reapply for the current existing one that they do have, as it's just beer and wine as they currently have it. So in other words, they're not applying for the liquor license. However, the one for the wholesale, they already have a distribution center. They just want to add wine distribution to their list of things that they want to distribute from their warehouse on Welcome Home. Okay, city council and charter changes. First
Before
reading.
you go on to the next part, we forgot to let Ms. Wiley Goodwill go before we get into a full discussion.
Yeah, okay, right. Goodwill coming in because we do take those suggestions from the people as this is y'all meeting. And so we don't want to inundate anybody with updates as we will drive y'all to the website as you will see later on. So Ms. Wiley from Goodwill, yes, please bring your goodwill and good news.
Hi, Councilman. I actually, it'll be real quick. We still have about 60 slots to serve youth in training programs through Goodwill in partnership with our local technical colleges for a variety of programs. What I've done is I've put the link to get to our landing page in the chat. You can actually copy that link and share with anybody you want. And then we just put their name, contact information, and we'll reach out to them. The only change that has happened since the last time I've done this is that we've increased the wages to $15 an hour. And the training is actually going to be paid training in the sense that if they're in class, they'll be paid for that as well, up to a total of 300 hours. So we're really excited about that, the increase from $10 to $15 an hour for this grant. You can reach out to me directly if for some reason that doesn't work. And then I have also given this information to Ms. Leverett as well. So if you can't reach me on that link or something happens with that, just reach out to her and she'll share it with me. This is youth between the ages of 18 and 24 who have involvement with the juvenile justice system.
So, right, this is people with those alternative backgrounds to give them an opportunity to earn $15, two have paid training to earn them a skilled labor set. I said, oh, to be 24 again. I said, I thought I was going to be able to qualify, but I get it just outside the boat there. But please, anybody on this call, if you know anybody, because as we are looking at trades, because I'm telling you that this is going to be key, because automation is a word that is now being utilized consistently into the new way of doing things. And as y'all know, I have dubbed District 5 Tech 5 because I want to be known as us to be known as the technology district and moving forward. But we need all kind of trades for these things to happen. And so people will says, oh, the man is not holding them back no more, because the goodwill of man has come through and given this opportunity. And I think that anybody knows anybody should take advantage of it. Paid training. I mean, let's just start there. Thank you.
Thank you. And also we have 6 slots, especially for someone who doesn't have a background, who is 18 to 24 and has a GED or is seeking a GED. They can also qualify for the $15 per hour for training. The trainings include welding, CDL, supply chain with forklift, and they are in partnership with some of our local technical colleges such as Atlanta Tech and Clayton, Southern Crescent, and the Caltech.
Oh wait, I just had to pick myself up off the floor real quick because I just, do you need to run back that again? Can you just repeat that one more time?
Okay, so everything is just for the GED, people who don't have a high school diploma, who are either have a GED or are working on their GED. We have 6 slots, especially for that population. If they're interested in any of those trainings, welding, CDL, forklift, construction, and HVAC as well. So just reach out to me. We have the key is the program has to be short, and short to us is under 18 weeks, and in partnership with our local technical colleges. And that's it. Thank you so much for giving the opportunity to share this opportunity.
Thank you for coming and sharing that opportunity, as we will make sure we put this on all channels, send it to the city or run it up the chain. And so we can just get everybody involved who wants to take advantage of this opportunity.
Thank you. I'll let you guys meet.
Oh, yes, ma'am. And so, where was I?
City of South Fulton council meeting.
What number?
City of South Fulton. Oh, well, I got on late, so I couldn't get in. But you had just finished talking about the wine or something being sold at a warehouse, or wanting to sell wine at the warehouse. So then you moved on to the City of South Fulton council meetings.
The agenda item, part 110, city council and charter changes.
Oh yeah, and charter change. That's right. That's what you said. Yes.
First reading of an ordinance to amend the city charter articles 3. The order of submission and review time, Councilmember Williams. The first reading of a work session policy ordinance, Raul Willis, Williams and Gums. Second reading and request approval of decorum ordinance amendments, Dr. Raul. And so any questions, concerns, comments? Okay. Public safety, second reading and request council approval of an ordinance to end the public mask mandate effective March 23rd, 2022, which was adopted on August 24th, 2021. 5 is request council approval of emergency order declaring a state of emergency in the city of South Fulton, providing for meetings to be held virtually, providing for an effective date, and for other lawful purposes. Please, is there any comment, questions?
I got a question. I just can't find my raise my hand button. So I'm confused. So they want approval to end the mask mandate, but they don't want to go in to have open meetings. But they want us to take our mask off?
Well, hey, get this. I'm confused because that's just kind of contradicts or oxymoronic. One or the other, can't quite get the terminology.
Okay.
But somebody on this phone, please tell me. Break it down for me as I'm a fifth grader.
I don't think anybody can. You want us as the public to take our mask off, but you don't want to serve us as your constituents in an open meeting. You don't want to be in a meeting, but you want us to take our mask off and be out and about, but you don't want to come to work and hear our concerns in person.
Right, because see.
Is tomorrow in, can you go to the meeting tomorrow? Y'all saying it's not in?
Oh, no, the meeting tomorrow, yeah, hold on, wait. The meeting tomorrow is in person. See, but get this, check this out. Okay, now see, I'm just gonna read this again in the sequence that I see it here on this agenda.
Put it back on the screen.
Right, please. Second reading and request council approval of an ordinance to end the public mask mandate effective March 23rd, 2022, which was adopted on August 24th, 2021.
Last year.
The very next one on 5 is request council approval of an emergency ordinance declaring a state of emergency in the city of South Fulton, providing for city meetings to be held virtually, providing for an effective date and for other lawful purposes. Look here, I'm gonna need
maybe when we go, maybe tomorrow when they go in, she may pull that back. Don't y'all do that sometimes? Take it away.
I mean, you can really look at tabling, but please tell me what emergency ordinance is there when everybody's repealing everything. Like, just help me out when the entire country is repealing. What state of emergency do we have in the city of South Fulton? See, because let me just say this. I'm not with a virtual work session and an in-person council meeting. I'm with an in-person work session and an in-person council meeting. Just like tonight, I wanted to be in person, but we had this whole deal for that. See, because it should be the case. It's not an either or. It is a this and. So anyway, but y'all, this is y'all time for, this is like a real public comment on this. This is why we have this, as I want y'all clear, rough, regular, raw interpretation. This is what we have. And so I'm hearing from y'all direct. And so, of course, please still make your public comment. Like, please still do that. But this is me hearing from you direct. Okay, sanitation. It's the second reading and request approval of revisions to the sanitation, solid waste ordinance, Willis, Reeves, Gums, and Sebastian. Did I hear somebody speaking? Say something?
Okay, all is well.
Somebody mute them.
If we could just mute those phones, and we'll appreciate it.
Yeah, from a couple people from my job and for young people in town, so she called me to.
Can you please mute your phone? Thank you. So we have an economic development and planning, the Old National Highway LCI project introduction presentation. They have the request approval of a resolution approving an amendment to the Convention Visitors and Bureau bylaws. First reading of a 12-month waiting period text amendments ordinance. Okay, questions, comments, and anytime I stop and pause, is everybody's hand raised working? Or if not, you can just speak freely, or we're just going to, nobody has a hand raised, okay. So Parks and Recs, discussion on time and date for next URA meeting proposed by Mayor for Tuesday, May 10th work session. 8 o'clock is the second reading and request approval of Johnny Tolbert heat injury. SS Kickball User Agreement, Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, held from March 22nd, 2022 council meeting. We're gonna need our Parks and Recs this summer. And we're gonna need programs this summer. We're gonna have to have something for your youth to do. That's just, I can't say no much more about that. Okay, Public Works. Resolution granting easement to Georgia Power. Resolution granted easement to Georgia Power. That's at 4255 Willie Road and at 5165 Welcome Road. Authorize staff to utilize the professional service exception to select Robert and Company to perform design and construction management services needed to design and install a new gas and diesel fueling station at the Plummer Road Fire Station for a total amount not to exceed $111,950,000. Authorize staff to select ARS Mechanical LLC as most responsive and responsible bidder in response to ITB, to authorize staff to enter into a service agreement with ARS Mechanical LLC to perform HVAC replacement and installation at the Sandtown Gym for an amount not to exceed $158,665. Hello? Is that a misprint? Because I think that's a misprint. General Leverett.
Yes, sir.
I think that's a misprint.
Well, this is the draft of the agenda, so maybe they will add to it by tomorrow.
Did anybody else hear about how we was talking about replacing the HVAC or putting an HVAC in at Burdett Park for the same amount? Or was I the only one? Anybody, somebody.
No,
Help me.
you weren't the only one.
I didn't. Who else? Cause see,
I heard it. I mean, they've been talking about that HVAC at that park for last couple of years now.
now get this. Check this out. At first, they tried to tell me $537,000 out of the URA funds. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's can we go back to the bill with that one? Then they say out of the CBDG funds. That's what they said last time out there, for $250,000 plus little small minor repairs, which kept us out today. So then I says, well, how much is out of the ERA funds? Because I'm conflicted because the 537 plus the 250 is roughly about 800,000, a little bit. So subtract that. They says, well, 188,000 of the URA money is going to go towards the HVAC for the CBDG funds. Which now see how many of y'all can follow the ball under the three shells. Hit slow motion. We're going to address that now. I've already put that in because when I looked over this, I'm going over with you guys, as that was my initial deal when I first read this. This is absolutely insane. However, administration and finance. Does anybody have any, please, concerns or anything? Nope. Request council approval of COS District 7 candidate qualifications and key election date resolution. First reading of an ordinance authorizing the city manager delegation to sign contracts. Okay, and then we have a first reading of the mid-year budget amendment ordinance, this and that third, but y'all should read this number 2 now. First reading of an ordinance authorizing the city manager delegation to sign contracts. What is the city manager delegation? The mayor has the ability to appoint the city manager and or the attorney. What is the delegation? However, okay, let's come to a pause here. Mr. George Gamble is on, and he has Powerhouse 360, and that's one of our that is the solar energy company we do have here in our region. And he actually reached out to, they did a project over on the Miller Zell building on Fulton Industrial, and he reached out to ask anybody did they want an opportunity to learn how to install solar panels. And all they needed was a screwdriver and the ability to will to learn and be coachable. And with that, I'm gonna give Mr. Gamble the floor and speak about Powerhouse 360.
Hey guys, thank you very much, Corey. I really appreciate that. Hey, I'm from South Fulton. My kids went to Randolph and Westlake and Sandtown for many years, and now I'm working on my second batch, and they're about to do the same thing. But I promise to be very, very brief. I'm the CEO of Powerhouse Energy 360. We're a solar, electric vehicle charging, and battery storage company right here in South Atlanta. And what we do is residential as well as commercial solar power installment and electric vehicle charging stations. And I really just wanted to kind of open it up for anyone who have any questions about solar and what are the benefits of having solar on your homes. What's the benefits of having EV charging or EV cars? And I just wanted to be very brief. And if anyone has any other questions they want to address with me individually, I put my email in the chat.
Absolutely. And so, do you want to tell about your facility near the area?
Absolutely. We're located right off of Camp Creek Parkway on the side of This Is It restaurant and those office buildings. But we're working on several projects, several bids out with City of Savannah, solarizing their city. We won the city of Decatur, where we are doing a lot of solar projects out there with them. But what I want to do with South Fulton, just to let you guys know that we're here. And if the residents want to consider solar panels on their homes, just to give me an email, we give you a free estimate. And basically the benefits of having solar on your homes is that you can perhaps reduce your energy costs maybe a third. But there's no smoke and mirrors. There's a cost associated with that. Right now is a great time to go solar. You will receive almost 40% of tax credits for going solar right now. So any investment you make, 40% of that you will be able to get back as a tax credit. From what I see with homes, there's almost like a 4 to 5 year payback. And what I mean by that is the energy that you save, you can pay the system off in 3 to 4 years. So there's no major pill, there's no magic pill about it. You know, having solar typically will save you a third of your energy bill, and having a battery, you will have ownership of your power, meaning that if the power goes out for a couple of days, we can design your system to have any specific room that you want, continue to have panel, because as long as the sun comes up, your battery will be recharged every day. So it's great that we're doing something about our carbon footprint, reducing emissions, but it's also great to own your power in case that you need it.
Yes, indeed, sir. And I'm just going to say this, as I was a proponent, I believe in, you know, getting a generator. But as I started taking a deep dive into this, I said, wait, I get a generator, sounds good. That generator actually has to hook up to a propane tank. Sits outside by your house out there. Now I'm a little uncomfortable with that. And so with this solar deal gives me a better alternative. And also to a little bit of peace of mind. And so, because I know someone who has a generator put in brand new, when the power went out,
it didn't work.
Nothing happened. The power was out. And let me just say this, as I'm looking towards, if I invest that, I look for, then, you know, power go out. Okay, 30 seconds later, you know, I'm back to normal activities. And so, yes, it is an investment up front, but it over the long term in which you own your home, and then people, over here, let the wrong storm come in, and hey, look, I don't have to tell you, we're fighting with Georgia Power to put a little substation down here so we can get a quicker fix and not telling us, oh, it'll be 4 or 5 days. So
That's right. Well, thank you for the opportunity. I wanted to be as brief and be a good steward of your time and your constituents' time. So if anyone have any questions, please, email me. And also too, we will be hiring our kids, hiring people from our community to teach them clean energy skill sets.
Absolutely. If you can put your information in the chat, we'll greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mr. Gamble.
Thank you, sir.
Glenda Collins has her hand up.
Yes, Ms. Collins.
She's on
Ms.
mute.
Collins?
She needs to unmute. There she goes.
Yes. Is a battery required to have a solar panels?
No, ma'am. It's the option. It's definitely an option. You can have solar panels without the battery.
And which one is most beneficial, with or without the battery?
Well, they both have benefits, but without the battery, your energy that you get from your panels will go straight to the grid, which will offset with Georgia Power. So you're going to be feeding your grid with energy that you're creating from your panels, and that'll offset your bill and your consumption of the Georgia Power that you're getting from Georgia Power. Now, if you had a battery all day, your battery would be 100%. It'll be 100% full. So at night, you're not using none of Georgia Power's energy. You're using your own energy that you store throughout the day. You see what I'm saying? So
yes.
From night, you're using your own power, and that really significantly will reduce your energy costs.
Okay. And my other question is, now if you have to replace your roof and the panels have to be removed, is that the homeowner's responsibility, or is it the solar company's responsibility?
Ms. Collins, I need you to come work for me because that's a great question.
That is an excellent
question. What I recommend you do, if you are interested in putting solar on your house and you're going to need to replace your roof in a couple of years, I suggest that you do it at the same time. See, because a portion of you replacing a new roof and putting solar at the same time, we can maybe take 40% of your roof costs and say that's your solar installation. Now what that means that you will get 40%, almost 40% off of everything that we claim is related to solar. I hope I do a good job of explaining that. Even when we do buildings and commercial buildings, we try to time it or tell the client, time it where you're going to do a new roof. So we can help you get more money back on your taxes.
Right.
Claim that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can't do it 100%, but we do a fair amount of it.
Okay. And is there a warranty on these panels?
Hey, I tell you what, Ms. Collins, you asking some serious good questions. Yes, ma'am. We will warrant the panels, and the warranty will coincide with your new roof. So they will give you a letter, and we'll give you a letter of assurances that our installation on your roof will not interfere. It will be done in such a way that your warranty on your roof from the shingles roofing company will be sustained. And we had to do that with a commercial bill. We had to, they were getting a new roof, and we had to, the roofing company come out to see our installation to make sure it was in accordance to the procedures so that the roof warranty will stay in place. Very good question.
Okay, well, I will give you a call.
Outstanding. Well, thank you. I look forward to it. I may need you to come and be our spokesperson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I have
Yes,
a question.
Thank you for this information. It's beneficial.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Gamble,
Yes, ma'am.
Jane Williams, I have a question. So if you don't get the battery, right? If you don't get and you have a power outage. Now, how does that work?
Then you just the lights will be out. You won't have, yeah, you won't have any, no energy to pull from.
Right.
You don't
right.
have the battery or.
So technically, you really need that battery.
You need a battery.
You need
You need a battery. And I don't want to do any misconceptions. The battery
That's right.
keep your house on for 3 days. It's not gonna keep your house on for a week. It'll keep your house on, depending on how large the battery, a night or a day and a half, something like that. And even with that, we'll have to design which rooms you want to still be able to use power. I suggest the kitchen and the den. If we say the washer and dryer and the AC unit and all that, it's going to drain that battery real quick. So if you want lights and very minimum things, just longer. But if you're going to have the air conditioner on, the heater on, the washer dryer on, and all this, it's going to draw it down.
It's going to drain.
Yeah, it's going to drain it. So I would just, and I just want to make sure everyone knows that, be very clear. It's not going to be just house as normal for a couple of days. We'll design it to whatever you want it to be like. And with me, I would just want 2 rooms, my kitchen and my den, and I would want a space heater or a, just a standby AC unit, one of those little $200 AC units. You can put your window if it's in hot, or a heater unit that you can just plug up and just have 2 rooms so my family be cool or they'll be warm, and I'll be able to go to the refrigerator and my refrigerator stay on or my freezer stay on to protect my meat.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things is we're gonna try to design this for try with a pilot deal on a senior program for those ones who are on oxygen, on insulin, because they have to have the refrigerator and have to have power in their room to have oxygen. So we do want to look at and see how that can be beneficial to the ones who can't afford it on their own, to look at seeing what does that look like from a financial perspective. And then with these senior programs, how can we marry those 2 ideas and see if we can come to a good result with those for our most needed elders.
Right. Okay, Mr. Campbell, I'm sorry, Jane Williams again. Okay, so, and you already have, I'm sure, your certification and all that. So with the HOA, say for instance you have an HOA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all contact the HOA? Like, say for instance, I just use my name for example. If I wanted to, well, I know I have to go through HOA as well, but do you all have to go through HOA too? Don't y'all have to submit something?
No, really, it's the responsibility is the homeowner. The homeowner has to, and we recommend that they contact the HOA just to make sure they have approval to do solar. Right. And in some HOAs, they say no, some say yes, and some say, well, it has to be in the back of the house.
That's right. Ours have to be in the back.
Yep.
All right, thank y'all so much. And so with further questions, he has this information in the chat. We want to get back to this and save the room for any questions, Q&A on the agenda. Mr. Gamble, you have been such a pleasure in offering this information to the community, sir. And thank you for reaching out to hire the youth within this community in this area so they can focus on some green jobs for the future.
Yes, sir. I'm available anytime. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Right. So that being said, right there is where did I leave off?
You were talking about the mask mandate. Well, I don't know. I'm not getting this up now.
Just go ahead and say
You was talking about the mask mandate. That's where you were.
Thank you.
And then the administration after that.
No. Right. It's we left off with the administration and finance, and the council request for council to approve the District 7 candidate qualifications and key election dates resolution. Ms. Johnson, don't be doubling down on that right there. That tickled me. And so first reading of an ordinance authorizing the city manager delegation to sign contracts. And I read that again, first reading of an ordinance authorizing the city manager delegation to sign contracts. The mayor signs contracts or appoints the city attorney or city manager. So I don't know what's this delegation. That's gonna be interesting. But we can all flip to the ordinance and read, take a deeper dive. And then it's the first reading of the FY 2022 mid-year budget amendment ordinance, which y'all know I asked for a transportation director to move transportation from up under public works. Staff decided it's a great idea to have a deputy director of transportation to see how that goes. So I'm gonna ask the people, do you think a director of transportation would be appropriate or a deputy director of transportation? Pardon me?
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay, you said a deputy director or a director of transportation? Which one?
I said the staff thinks that I've spoken to staff, our city manager, and said that, you know, because we don't have to legislate everything. Like, you know, it's like, okay, you have the ability to create this and make this happen. And it's just best served if we have a Department of Transportation, our own Department of Transportation, and a director that reports to the city manager. Okay, so that takes transportation projects. Let's take example, the bridges, the signs, the stop signs, the stoplights, the traffic studies, the things that fall under transportation T-spots, the sidewalks, the lights, and it's on separate, and let public works focus on things that public works focuses on, right-of-way maintenance, right-of-ways, and the maintenance.
I agree.
Huh?
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree that the department, we need.
Because get this, because let me just say this. By all of, when you look at the totality of the city who complains about the same thing on a public work, why would we not do that? Because the complaints are the same. And so they call this thing a commingling of funds. Like you got these T-Splash projects. You got T-Splash 1, T-Splash 2. You got 5 years to put it in. Anybody on this call, please correct me if I am dead wrong, not aligned with the correct facts. But you have 5 years to spend it. Now, we're talking about T-Splash 2, but we're in the 6th year of T-Splash 1. Remember those little roundabouts on Fairwood? Did anybody recall that? Somebody presented me with an article a long time ago about some roundabouts. Do y'all know roundabouts are designed to increase accidents, but it's to reduce the head-on collisions. And they wanted to put a mini roundabout here, 2 of them. What did we have? We had a little truck situation. So the community came and they says, what would be better design is a stop sign at Pebble Beach and Fairwood, you know, and the ones that light up. You got the solar on the top and light up, you know, the red. The same thing to replace those, that addition, that's the add one, then to add the stop signs at Benchmark and Fairwood and Morning Creek Drive and Fairwood. Oh, and a little up from that is a warning that the train is on the track. So people don't have to go drop all the way down there just to turn around and come back, particularly with Stacks Road being closed. And that bridge is being worked on. Now, I guess they took the birthday off for a holiday week. I don't know, but I haven't seen nobody else working.
Hey, Corey, this Miss Johnson. Now, you said that bridge being worked on. That bridge have not been worked on all week. I've been going down there checking, and I sent you an email to that. So they got that crane down there. And my question to you, is that crane being charged to the city of Atlanta every day? It's sitting down there doing nothing?
Hey, I hope it's charged to the city of Atlanta because I would love for them to pay the
I
bill.
mean, I'm not just, you know what I mean?
No, Sister Johnson, I understand. I heard you what you said because I go down there every day too. I said they must be using the birthday week as a holiday because I have not seen nobody down there working. And so this has been since last week.
That's not right, Corey. They ain't using no birthday week. Them people just not working.
No, Miss Johnson, I was being absolutely facetious when I was saying that, as that Mr. Valenzuela and them knows. And as they sent us a contract, I tell you, these people is you know, I don't know what if they want to declare a state of emergency, this is a state of emergency. And I asked that on the DS. And so, but what we have on the DS and the contract language is two different things, which brings me back up to this mid-year budget thing, right? Because I asked for a contract compliance officer. Do you know they said nobody put in for that? But however, the request has been for 2 years. I'm just curious. See, because the contract compliance officer one, not a director, is making sure that the contracts council approved and the contracts executed are in a deal in the same thing. Says the same thing, same deals, same specs. So without that contract compliance officer one, I'm just saying it can be this situation. But I'm not going to make innuendos or anything, because I'm just going to keep pushing for our contract compliance. As they might not try to add it in this budget, but they're going to have to add it to the fiscal year 23 budget. As you know, when we have checks and balances and accountability, I says, I don't run from being accountable, but I want everybody in the city to know how to spell it too. So I just think that, well, we just have to count the four and see what legislation we can get on there to kind of push it through. But not just on the books, but actually an implementation plan on how to do it. That's what I want to come with all my legislation, is an implementation, as we can. There's a lot of things on the books. Some things they don't know how to enforce. I digress as we continue to progress forward. But we're 5. We're no longer new. When you turn 5, significant. But we must progress forward in good faith, and fiduciary faith is what we are elected to do. So, and then we come down to the end with council comments, executive session if needed, and it's going to be needed. And then we adjourn the meeting for tomorrow's legislation. That's tomorrow on today. And as y'all have heard and ran through the agenda, as your elected person who y'all lent the seat to, is there any concerns that y'all have about tomorrow? Oh, by the way, y'all will hear this come up. It is on the last page of the agenda, that it says the mayor is asking for an additional $43,000 request of money. I want to be clear about this. He eliminated a position, so that created a salary savings. So the money is already in the budget for that salary. He's just moving it to half of it, some of it, to accommodate another salary of contractor work. So
Who you trying to contract that for? Is it a certain person you got in mind?
Well, it's his administrative assistant, or the public advocate, I believe. I think might have been his administrative assistant. Is that because I believe Youssef joined his team as chief of staff, so it's taking some of that salary savings from the position of the mayor's administrator, but it's 43,000 of that and moving it. So in other words, there's no addition of no money. There's nothing, everything is within the mayor's budget frame, and it's his to move around. So there's nothing to get excited about as there's just, they're gonna be routine. And that's finance and in-house. And so that's just.
Okay, so you said get excited about it. Okay, I get with that. I'm not trying to be excited. Just trying to make sure. So the chief of staff's, what's that salary right now?
I don't know. And so, but all I know is they want to take $43,000 out from the salary savings budget to accommodate for the staff budget. So, but it's within the framework. And wait, somebody had the comment in the chat that says, let's read the chat here. It says, oh wait, today is the last day to register to vote. So I thought a public advocate position was a voluntary position. Oh no, it's voluntarily paid. And so by staff and agent. See.
So this is Glenda Collins.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. A contract administrator, what are their duties? And will they be able to perform their duties along with the other job that they have?
A contract administrator?
Yes. Will they be monitoring the contracts to make sure they are in compliance?
Are you talking about a contract compliance officer?
I thought you said that part of the funding was being moved to someone that was going to take on responsibilities as a contract administrator.
Oh, well, no, his chief of staff. And so,
Chief
well, you
of
know,
staff.
as Mark is running for Congress, he had to vacate his seat for 7, leaving his legislative specialist available. But, you know, District 7, I don't know, because he's going to have a gap from representation. Well, we voted to have him stay on as to be a representative for 7 to field any questions, you know, things of that nature, and then keep them abreast on what's going on. As you know, they want to have, people still want to feel represented, even though it's a vacant seat. And so we 6, kind of totality represent them. But, you know, the mayor who represents the entire city, as I guess they just better have him serve under that capacity as chief of staff, from what I'm being told. But let me just say this, don't hold me to that, as that is not an official title that I know of, that I seen on paper for myself, as rather it was by the way mentioned. So until that officially comes out from the mayor's office, Yusef is just a employee who still feels call and answers from the District 7 constituency. I learned anything different for concrete. I'm just saying, let me just clear myself up, for lack of a better term, because I don't know that concretely, but that is what has been mentioned. So let me get the hardcore facts on that before I even say anything to that nature. But however, I do know they want to take $43,000 to accommodate for contracted staff. So, which would mean from the staff and agency.
Okay, Councilman Reeves. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm clear on this. So we don't have any, no council person for District 7. Now, he wants to move the money though from this, wherever it is. But what happens when District 7 gets a council person? Where is that money then?
in the budget. So let me just say this.
Okay.
We all have a budget cycle, right?
Mhm.
And when you going out, I put in the legislation when I first came in, when you are exiting, you can only spend 25% of your budget. Like next year, October, 1, 3, 5, and 7 is up. My election is up next year. They go next year. So, but October the 1st, we're still here. We're setting the budget. So I would only be able to spend October through December, 25% of the budget. Because if District 5 chooses me to lend this seat again, then I will keep the full budget. But if not, whoever comes in still has 75% of the budget, which is the 3/4 in which they come in, that's just fiduciary responsibility. So that's, but when I'm very unclear on what the rules are, as when you vacate a seat, the budget's still there. And I don't think that was all used up, but we don't know. But you know what? What we are getting ready to have is this audit. And that will dictate, because there will have to be certain parameters and things around that as well. And so, because if you have that budget left over, fiduciary, would you spread it against the council? Or would you say, hey, look here, we got a whole summer coming in. Let's go for programmings for Parks and Recs. I don't know. Something of that nature would be beneficial. And so that's something we will be discussing with our finance, and we will be dealing with this. More than likely, those type of questions we will deal with in executive session. And so, but we could deal with an executive session, but whatever we deal with, it will be supposed to come out to the public, because I think that the constituent has a right to know about that. We all have a right to know about that. And so, but like I said, the money that is utilized, it's on the last page of the total agenda. And so it is just to move money that's already in the mayor's budget from one line item to another line item, not the whole thing, but partially, to cover the contract expenses. And I believe that's for his contracted employee staff. So, and that would be
Contracted. So you saying these people was a contractor? So they're not employees of the city?
they're employees of the city through a contracting agency. Yes, ma'am. And so in other words, you're right. You know how, just like any, you'll go in, get a city badge and stuff, but you get paid from the company and not from the city of South Fulton.
Okay,
So
so
are
these
they
positions
independent
that you,
contractors?
Pardon me?
Are they independent contractors?
They work for
It's not independent contract. They're
Staffing service.
staffing.
okay,
service.
so
Thank
you saying the public advocacy position is a contract position?
From a staffing agency. Yes, ma'am.
It's from a staff, and I thought when we read that when this position was, the person was selected for the position, mentioned anything about a contract. They said that she was selected by the mayor to be the public advocacy. And if that's the case, and it's a paid for position, it should have been announced as a job for anybody to apply competitively. So I'm just lost on all of this, because that's not what it said when they announced that this person had gotten a position. So it's some confusion there. And if it's, like I said, if they are an employee of the city, it should have been announced as a job. And the job should have been out there for anybody competitive to apply for it. And then a selection should have been made. So I'm confused on all. I'm confused on all of this. I mean, because she
This is
did what they
Tamika. Let me clarify.
Uh-huh.
So the public advocate position is through a staffing agency, which means it is a temporary position that she has been contracted through the agency. The position has not been posted as a full-time position yet. So that is why it's not posted. Once it becomes an official posted position, then they have to post it, but it's not an official position yet.
Oh, but I thought I just heard him say they're gonna move money for these positions. And I'm like, are you moving money for contracts? Are you
Because the
moving money
position,
for,
in
Well,
order to
well,
create the position, you have to have a budget for it. So he's
yes,
in the
but
process of getting ready to make it a position.
Well, you have to cover the expenses of the staffing agency as well. So, you know,
but before you
and
selected that money should have already, you see what I'm saying? The budget, before you can just pay a contractor or pay on a contract. I mean, reason I know about these contracts because I've been doing it for 30 years. The money should have already been available. You don't put a person in a
well,
position and then you ask for a budget for the contract. I'm just
well,
lost on it.
no, no,
And
no,
we might not ever
So,
get an answer for it, but it
no,
just
no.
seemed like something
So
is not right with that.
wait, let me be clear on this. So the mayor had his executive assistant. I think she was making above 70. I don't know the totality of that price, above 70. And so he eliminated that position. It's still in the mayor's budget of $70,000. So 43,000 of that salary savings will go to the contractor position for the public advocate. So it's essentially taking one line item, slicing it in half, and moving it to another line item to cover those expenses of a contracted person, which actually then there's still remaining 30 plus on the books within the budget. Could go for another part-time salary, could go for whatever. But the thing is, until they get the public advocate on what does that actually do, entail job description, everything else. And so then you can have a formidable or an executed statement of work per se and job description, and then it could be filled that way with the adequate salary that's equivalent to the job title and description. That's the best way that I can explain it. And but there's people smarter than me in finance because I do not claim to be the sharpest person, but I do have a great understanding and understand that um, it's not it's not creating money, and it's not asking for additional money. To your point, Miss Sheila, is it is already in the budget, but as a salary savings. That's why, me personally, I don't like saying that word salary savings because that's not good. When you say salary savings, do you know what you mean by that? That means there's a bunch of jobs and bunch of stuff that's available, and that's not good. And so we should not be having those salary savings as we should be salary neutral. And so that, and ultimately that, really kind of affects our service delivery. So,
So Ms. Sheila, are you also asking the councilman to make sure that once the position is a salary position, that it is posted publicly?
Oh, I'm just saying this shit. I mean, if it's a position within the city, it should be a competitive position that anybody who would like to apply and compete for the position should have that opportunity to do so.
oh, yes, ma'am. That's the process, and that's what will happen, and that's what will happen. And so, many people look at it in different ways. I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the people of the constituency, not to get into that sort of debate because it's you can kind of draw your own conclusions and kind of just see from what it is. But I did want to make you aware of because in other words, let me just say this is that what we went through when we the mayor asked us to contribute to his mailer, as you know, the drama that went behind that. And so I stood behind because it was the first, and because of that legislation, he could only spend 25% of his budget as that, because that's for all to apply. And so to mail out his thing of accomplishment, because y'all know my reason, there will never be another first. And so, but to, in other words, not give that stuff any kind of oxygen, let's just dispel that. And just because everything is accounted for and, within the framework of how operations and finance work within this city, particularly as it deals with the mayor's budget. And I don't want anybody to hear misleading things or listen, because so much stuff can get lost in the sauce. And but the truth is the constant stir. So I just wanted to drop that. So I didn't want nobody here from get confused on anything of that nature, as it is above board and it is within finance. And so there's no great concern. But there is the concern of when it is posted, when it is made an official position, that everybody does have a chance to apply for it. Even the person who currently occupies the temporary position. And, unless they try to make an attempt to perm. Now, see, I don't know the rules about that. But Sheila, you would have to educate me on that. And so we can, talk intelligently about that. So.
Okay, do you all have any trees left over from Friday?
Yes, get this. Yes.
You didn't mention that. If you have trees left over.
How many do you need?
I was just getting them for a neighbor who wanted trees.
Yes, ma'am. And I was going to say that. Thank you all for coming out. Thank y'all for celebrating Earth Day. And Miss Sheila, I did think about you. We did deliver. We did call and we did have them. So you was absolutely correct on that. And I appreciate you. And so, yes, I will bring those over. Can I do that tomorrow?
Yeah, but Miss Penny Tucker is the one who wants the trees. So you know her, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Collins has her hand up.
Anybody else want a tree? Because I got some.
I don't know. I need to pass. I don't want to do no confrontation. No, she told us.
Y'all know we can hear that whole conversation. I don't know if y'all want to share that. So who had the hand up?
Two people.
Ms. Sumlin and Ms. Collins.
Who? Well, go ahead, Ms. Leverett. Which one was in order?
Collins first.
Ms.
Ms.
Collins?
Collins, but she didn't answer, so I guess Ms. Sumlin goes next.
Well,
Go ahead. This is Mr. Sumlin.
Well, this is Mr. Sumlin. I just wanted to ask the question about, does the mayor have the authority to reallocate funds from that have been released from another position, or does the council have to approve it?
No, he's free to operate within his purview within finance, because that is his budget, and so he can do with his budget what he likes.
Okay, and that's in your little bylaws, right?
Huh?
All right, that's in your bylaws and everything, right? That he can do that, but
Absolutely. Just like like I can operate within my budget, and it's at our discretion. Now we do have items that within our budget. You have to, if you want to increase it, just put it in different categories. But yes, sir.
Yeah.
And so they can operate freely. That's within that. So
yeah. I guess I can see abuse and everything, but that's a possibility. All right, that's it.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so, Ms. Collins. Well, listen here. I do hope that Ms. Collins.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, my question is on this audit, we're auditing each individual department. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, but I think that and let me just say this, I think that there should be a forensic audit of the totality of every department. And the reason I say that is because anytime a new administration comes in, like if it was me, I want the whole thing, because see, I want to know where we are, where we at in real time, not any windows, this and this and that third, a real hard line. This is where we are. This is my starting point. Because as you will be looked at, the counter judged on what it is that you inherit and how do you make that better, or is that worse? Just say when President Obama came in and inherited the crisis, did he have real numbers or factuations, or just loose numbers. I think there was hardcore facts, and that's how you judge out there from a leadership perspective on which direction did you take this city and the constituents in positive or negative. And so I think that that's my reasoning, is because I want to know what's my zero. And that's what, if I accept accountability, then yes, I want to be accountable for starting at my zero and whatever my zero is. And to get that, you have to have the hardcore facts. And
Okay.
so if it was me, I'm just putting myself in that position. So I wouldn't, have less or assume less for anyone else, because that would
Right.
be unfair.
And when is the budget meeting? And are we going to meet, I guess, in person regarding the budget?
Oh, absolutely. And so, and I'm going to ask my colleague, Councilmember Williams, is when do we have these budget deals? Let's try to do this together, as we want, and then have the subject matter experts with us to break this down. And so, because the things that need to be happening in the budget based on the needs assessment from the constituency is going to be how we and where we allocate the money and the most of it, and then where we see the greatest need. And so that's how I normally operate with that. And so, and I think she kind of shares the same sentiment, and let's say if we can do that together. So when they do come out, we will have our rounds in person. And get this is me. Everything I do is gonna be a hybrid model. So because I don't want my deal is I want to eliminate the barriers of excuses. So those who can make it can, those who cannot still can zoom in. And so we will be offering that, because that's just the new way of doing things, in my opinion.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, if all hearts and minds are clear, look here, it is 7:51. We carried on tonight because that's what we do on Legislative Mondays. We don't mind going over, but I still respect all y'all time, and I thank y'all for taking out the time of y'all day and coming on here. And I hope that you learned something and got educated about something. And as you are staying connected, help others get connected as well. Spread the word. And remember, happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us. Happy
And thank
birthday, dear city of South Fulton. Happy birthday to you. Now, if
you.
y'all want to record under that, it's $3.99. No tax. Straight.
Good night, Councilman.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
and I love y'all, and y'all can't do nothing about it.
Good night, everybody. John Boy, Sue Ellen, Mary Ellen, everybody.
Nah, thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Corey.